What happens when faith, fear, power, and silence collide inside a home? Not on the street, not in a dark alley, but behind closed doors where no one is watching. Tonight, we are talking or we are telling a story that has shaken a community in Alabama. A story involving a pastor, a domestic incident, and a person that has left many questions than answered. Okay? This is not gossip. This is not speculation. This is women, wounds, and justice. This is our very first video. I want to say thank you for being here. Before we begin, I want to give an important disclaimer. This video is based strictly on verified reporting that is available as of January 2026. As we speak, no one has been convicted of a crime in this case. Some details still remain unconfirmed. Okay, so we will clearly separate facts, context, and analysis because justice actually demands clarity and not chaos. Now, let's talk about the night that changed everything. Okay, everything in the neighborhood. This happened on December 23rd of 2025 in Freedom Heights neighborhood of Level Plains in Alabama. In this place, a call came into the law enforcement, okay? A 911 call came. Inside a home, a man has been pawpawed during what authorities would later describe as a domestic incident. That man's name was Daquarius Green. He was 31 years old. He was a pastor, a community figure. This man was rushed to the hospital, and for several days, he fought for his life. His life hung in the balance. And then on December 27, 2025, 4 days later, this pastor, Pastor Green, passed from his injuries. No arrests was made that night. And as of now, no charges have been filed. Okay? So no charges has been filed. To many people, the Aquarius Green was just, it wasn't just a name in a headline. He was the pastor of Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Dale County, Alabama. Okay? Church members described him as humble, as devoted to the faith. They described him as committed to the service. After his passing, the community mourned publicly. Everybody came out, people crying, prayer vigils were held, fellow pastors spoke words of honor, the church shared messages, everybody, talking about him. And here is where the story becomes difficult because grief and accountability would often collide. Let's slow this down and let's stay grounded in verified facts. This pastor, Pastor Green, was pawpawed inside his home, and they said it is domestic violence. Okay? And as we speak, still nobody has been charged. Investigations are ongoing, and the law enforcement has remained notably cautious. Okay, because they are looking at it that this case might not be straightforward. Local reporting indicates investigation may be evaluating whether the shooting could have been legally justified, or they're saying, could it have been self-defense? So different people are saying different things, okay? But the process would often involve things like forensic review, witness statements, prosecution, evaluation. And for me, I want to say silence in this case does not mean inaction. Sometimes it means that the law is being careful. They don't want to wrongfully accuse somebody. They don't want to just rush to justice. And that, in my opinion, makes a whole lot of sense. Okay. Now we have arrived at the point or at the part of the story that makes everybody uncomfortable. Court records have shown that in early 2025, this man, Daquarius Green, faced multiple misdemeanor on DV charges. Now, as time went by, the cases were dismissed. Not after a trial, not after a verdict, but because the victim declined to testify. Okay. There was also a protection order filing. Okay. And according to court documents, one allegation stated that Green physically struck a woman, including an allegation involving pregnancy. He struck a woman while she was pregnant. Now, let's be very clear here. When a case is dismissed, it does not mean imaginary. It does not mean harmless. It does not mean fear. Let me say it often means fear, rather it often means pressure. It often means isolation. It often means somebody is trying to survive. This is not a conviction, but it is context. And in every situation, context matters. Okay? In every situation, context matters. There has been rumors that the woman was his wife and all sorts. We have heard different things. Let's watch this before we continue. Okay, let's watch this on Facebook before we go ahead.
During what is reported as a custody exchange. Now, the wife has not been arrested at this time, and according to before Christmas Eve, Pastor Daquarius Green out of Alabama was fatally shot by his wife during what is reported as a custody exchange. Now, the wife has not been arrested at this time, and according to the records, Pastor Green has a history of domestic violence. Y'all go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat. Let's get into it. So Pastor Daquarius Green is the pastor of Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Elba, Alabama. He is married to Quinteria Massey Green, and it appears that they have a few children together. Now, back on May 28, 2025, Quinteria posted on her Facebook that she had filed for divorce 2 weeks before that. She said, I keep people out of my business, but yes, I filed for a divorce 2 weeks ago. God bless you all that have called and texted me. Cheers to a new journey.
So her name has been speculated, and it's been speculated that she had filed for a divorce.
Into that, they may be going through a divorce, but on December 23rd, Daquarius and Quinteria got into some type of domestic dispute where she allegedly fatally shot him. Apparently, he was taken to the hospital where he did pass away. So his wife, Quinteria, has not been arrested at this time, but the sheriff did indicate that the investigation was still ongoing, and if they find probable cause, they will submit the evidence that they find to the district attorney, where the district attorney can decide on presenting the information to a grand jury and bringing an indictment. Now, court records show that Daquarius Green faced 3 misdemeanor counts of domestic violence last year, though all were dismissed after the alleged victim refused to testify. In the protection order filing, a woman alleged that Green, with whom she has children with, repeatedly struck her once when she was pregnant. Now, that protection from abuse petition was filed earlier this year. Again, she claimed that her husband was very insecure and jealous. She accused him of physically injuring her on multiple occasions, including while she was pregnant. Now, that petition from earlier this year was also dismissed. So that's all the information that we have as of now. Again, no one has been arrested in connection with this fatal shooting, and the sheriff said that they will present all of their evidence over to the district attorney, and the district attorney will decide how to move forward. So, family and friends of the Aquarius have taken to social media demanding justice. They said that they're confused by this whole thing, and they want someone prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. And I guess we'll wait and see what happens, what more information we learn. I'm going to keep you guys updated. This is Double D Mobile for.
Okay, so as we heard, her family, the family of the man, they're saying, "Hey, we need justice. We need someone to be held accountable." Let's watch this.
About a church leader who died from injuries he suffered in a Dale County shooting last week.
He was identified as Pastor DeQuarius Green, shot during a suspected domestic squabble at a Level Plains home. News 4's Jacqueline Lambert with this story that's drawing some mixed reaction on social media. Jacqueline?
DeQuarius Green served Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church as its senior pastor. Hurt on December 23rd, Green, who had a history of domestic violence arrests, died Saturday. He was shot by a woman with whom he had a romantic relationship with and shared at least one child. Houston County Court information also reveals that 3 domestic violence charges Green faced last year were dismissed because the alleged victim refused to testify against him. The separate protection order filing alleged that Green struck a woman when she was pregnant. Records don't reveal if all of those charges involve the same alleged victim. It's also important to note that the court records do not indicate that the alleged victim in those cases is the same person who shot Green in Green's shooting. No charges have been filed, likely indicating authorities believe it could have been in self-defense. Typically, findings from these types of cases are turned over to the district attorney, who decides whether to present those findings to a grand jury. Facebook posters differed in their take regarding the case, some criticizing Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church for employing a person with a history of domestic violence arrests. However, other posters paint a different picture of the man they knew, praising his spiritual leadership and calling him a beloved man of God. In the newsroom, Jacqueline Lambert, your hometown news leader.
Jacqueline, thanks for that report.
So, guys, as you've heard, we are not sure who pulled the trigger. So who pulled the trigger officially? We do not know. People are saying it's the wife. Law enforcement has not confirmed the shooter's identity, whether the shooter was his wife, whether children were present. Yet, online names have begun to circulate like you saw. Stories hardened into narrative, speculations have turned into judgment. But here at Women Wounds and Justice, we don't convict people on social media because reckless speculation often put women in danger, especially when the law has not spoken. Okay? Now, I'm going to be making arguments for and against. It's just going to be a balanced, legal a thought process. So legally and ethically, several things must be acknowledged. He was never convicted of DV. Community members attested to his positive impact, but we do not know what happened in that final moment, whether he wanted to pull the trigger and she tried to protect herself and something happened. So we are going to presume innocence. Okay, because that still exists. We don't know what has happened yet until we hear from law enforcement. Okay, but we must also confront this, that multiple DV related arrests in 1 year indicates a pattern risk. So when we are saying that this man has been arrested, okay, multiple times for DV in 1 year, that tells me that there is a pattern, that there's something, and there are reports of him putting hands on his woman even when she was pregnant. Okay, and I want us to acknowledge that protection orders are serious legal actions. Okay, leadership increases responsibility. The fact that he was a leader in the church makes us expect more from him. So leadership increases a responsibility. To whom much is given, much is expected. However, leadership does not increase immunity. Power without accountability is very dangerous. This man was a pastor. So he's a pastor outside, he's the good guy outside, but we really don't know what's going on inside the house. I saw a video of a lady accusing the wife that she was this, she did not love him, she did not do this, she did not do that. My question would be, were you living in the same house with them? The person that knows the true character of a spouse is the spouse and the children. So the people that live under the same roof will see the true character of the person, not the church people. It's very easy for me to come outside and give you a facade. You don't know me until you leave, until you've lived in the same house with me. In fact, your parents don't know the side of you that your wife or your husband knows. Okay? So let's talk about whoever shot. No charges could possibly indicate self-defense, and DV history is considered when evaluating fear. Okay? Self-defense laws also examine immediacy, reasonableness, and threat. And in my opinion, survival is not a crime. Okay? However, I'm turning my glasses the other way against the shooter. But the law also asks hard questions. Was deadly force the last option? Was the threat immediate? Did the shooter have alternatives? No charges yet does not equal legal conclusion. So we are still watching this case. We are still looking at this case. This tragedy did not start on December 23rd. This is something, in my opinion, that started way earlier. So when warning signs appeared, when cases were dismissed without safety planning, when silence replaced intervention, church systems, legal system, community systems, when institutions protect image over safety, harm would grow quietly. All of this that I've said accumulated to this point that we are in. What are the lessons for us, women and men? Okay, for the men first, leadership does not erase accountability. Dismissed case are warnings, not wins. Unchecked anger escalates always. So as a man, you need to check your anger. The fact that a case was dismissed against you is not a win. Okay? It's not a win. You need to check your anger at all times. And then for women, love does not require that you endure fear. Okay? Silence protects patterns. I wish she had let the whole thing go through. I wish she showed up in court and followed through. Maybe that man will be alive today. Okay? So, your silence protects the pattern, not the people. When you keep quiet, the DV continues. If she had showed up in court and she has spoken against him, maybe that man will be alive today. They will have gone their separate ways, but that man will be alive today. And again, I want to reiterate that self-defense is not rebellious. It's not rebellion in itself, because your survival as a human being matters. Okay? Now, for spaces of faith, I want to say this. Prayer without accountability becomes permission for things to happen. Okay? We hear the church protecting everybody, protecting leaders over victims. Listen, protecting leaders over victims would destroy the trust that people have in these sanctuaries. A sanctuary must be safe, not silent. I repeat, a sanctuary must be safe, not silent. So, status, nobody has been identified, no charges, no arrest has been made, and the investigation is active. What are we waiting to see? Maybe there will be a grand jury review. The law is still watching, and so we are watching. And I would say that we should watch responsibly. Okay? This case is not about choosing sides. It's about what happens when power meets silence, when faith meets fear, when warnings go unheeded. Now, justice is not gossip. Truth is not rumor, and women's life are not collateral damage. This is Women Wounds and Justice. I will see you in the next one. If you or someone you know is experiencing DV, help is available. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline 1-800-788-SAVE 7233. Okay? Please subscribe for more responsible survivor-centered storytelling. Share thoughtfully and protect the living. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye.